I don't know. They're both equally really good. You know, anytime you can outrun Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex and those guys like we did at Chicago and like we were able to do this weekend, anytime you can do that, you know, you've got a damn good race car. So I felt like both weekends we had a really, really good race car compared to the field.
We'll go to Jim on the right, and we'll go back over here on the left.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. A couple things.
Who?
First,
Who?
do you feel...
Can you repeat your name?
Jim Utter, motorsport.com.
Okay.
A lot of guys coming into this weekend had talked about, not necessarily from your team, about how they felt they needed to be perfect in order to compete with the likes of Kevin and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. Was today an example of that for you as well, needing to be perfect in order to contend with your teammate?
Yeah, I think you look at those teams and they're seasoned teams, they're veteran teams, and they execute on every level. And when you make a mistake, it's hard to fight back. We actually had an issue on pit road, our very first pit stop of the race today, and fell all the way back to last. We had an issue on the right front, didn't get the right front on, so we battled back from that, drove all the way back up to the lead. And then right there at the end, we lost control of the race by coming off pit road third instead of leading like we came down. So that's where those guys are so good. You know, they under pressure, they perform at their highest level. And today, you know, we didn't. We came down pit road leading the race. We went out third, and then on the restart, I didn't do a good job, and we didn't, you know, as a team, we didn't give ourselves a chance to win when it mattered the most. We had the best car, and we didn't do it. So, but I have no doubt that as we clean those things up and as we get better as a team, that we are going to be a contender and we're going to be tough to beat. And that's what I keep telling everybody. You know, we're so new and so young, and you know, we're 20 races into working together, and we're good. We're not great, but we have potential to be great because I don't feel like we've reached our max potential just because everything's so new and we're still learning each other and learning what I like in the race cars and all of those things. So it's getting there, and if we keep performing like we are right now and we put ourselves in position and we get used to racing for wins, you know, the wins will come.
And along those lines, you mentioned about wanting to win for all the people who have been supportive of you getting this opportunity. But I just wondered, I know how important the win is, but what you've been able to accomplish already this season, for you personally, does it serve as some justification for yourself that this was that this is what you wanted to do and that you were on the right path?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does. It makes me sleep better at night. You know, I think had my career ended at the end of last year and I never got another opportunity, I, for the rest of my life, would go to sleep at night and wonder how good I was as a race car driver. Because you know, I feel like it's fair to say that I've had not good enough equipment as an excuse. Well, now I have this opportunity here at Stewart House Racing, and equipment is not an excuse. We have the best of everything. We have everything we need to go out and compete for wins, and so it's up to me and my team. And so, yeah, I do feel like there is justification running up front and racing with Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and all of those guys that run up front on a regular basis. It makes me feel like I'm capable and I can do it. And so that, you know, that does make me feel better, and at least I'll be able to sleep at night knowing that given the right opportunity, I could perform at that level. Now we just got to figure out how to go win.
Paul Lambert from Short Track Scene. Aric, as you make this second trip to some of these tracks, are you going to be able to make that next step and start getting those wins that have kind of eluded you the last 3 weeks?
I think so. I really do. I feel like, you know, going back to some of these tracks that we'll now have notes at, you know, a lot of these tracks all year long we've shown up kind of blind. We have no real notebook, and we've showed up and just kind of guessed at where we needed to unload, and then throughout the weekend made a lot of changes to dial our car in and get it better. And so now we're going to go back to these races where we have a notebook and we know, hey, we changed these things in practice and it made our car better. We're going to start with that already in our car, and then we'll be able to fine tune on that and make that better. And we learn what not to do. You know, we've gone to some racetracks earlier this year where we've unloaded and made some changes, and it was the wrong way. And we know now not to venture down that path. So it's as much of learning what to do as it is what not to do, and it's just building a foundation in a notebook. And when you look at the teams that are very successful, the big three that all you guys talk about, they've all been working together for 3, 4, 5, 6 years now, and they've got a foundation. And that's what has me excited about my relationship with Johnny Klossmeyer and my engineers and this whole 10 team is that we're young. We're just a young group of guys all in our early 30s, and we're learning each other, and we're new, and we're already starting to compete with these guys 20 races into working together. So I feel like we have so much potential to continue to get better.
We'll go to Matthew in the back, then we'll go to Terrell, and then we'll go into the press box.
Matthew Warners with WWLP 22 News. Aric, I wanted to ask you, 2 sunny days here, Friday and Saturday for practice and qualifying. It rained this morning. How did it change the track with the PJ1?
I think the PJ1 was really sticky and fired off with a lot of grip, and then as the race went on, it wore off. And I think we kind of expected that, and we kind of planned for that in practice. By the time happy hour rolled around, the PJ1 started to wear off some, just because of all the laps that were on the racetrack. So we kind of felt like we had a good idea of where the racetrack was going to go, and I felt like we had a good handle on what we needed. So really proud of Johnny Klossmeyer and Mike Cook and Mark and all the guys on the road crew of this team preparing the race car they did for the race today. We did a good job of getting it dialed in final practice. We hit on a few things that really woke the car up, and then they made some adjustments overnight that had the car really rolling nicely today. So we're doing the things that we need to do with the race car to have race cars fast enough just on raw speed to win. Now there's a whole other dynamic that goes into winning, just execution from my part on restarts and getting the job done on pit road and all of those things. It's a team sport. And so if it was just car and driver and we lined up and went and raced, we probably would have had a shot to win today just like we did, but there's so much more that goes into it.
Terrell Covey, Portsmouth Herald. Daytona, Chicago, here you've had all these races where you're right there. How do you keep positive and keep looking at the potential instead of going, oh, what's going to go wrong next?
It just has me more motivated, really. I just have more fire in my belly and more motivation, and I have more confidence, just knowing that we're close. We're right there, and we just got to keep pounding. We got to keep grinding and keep after it, and we're gonna win. I mean, you can say I said it here in the media center at Loudon, New Hampshire, but we're running too good, and we're too competitive to not win. It's just a matter of when are we going to win? and so I firmly believe that, and I think that's the mentality that we all have on this team, and that's what has us fired up, and we keep working hard every week, and we don't worry about anybody else. We're just focused on our team and our car and doing the things that we need to do to make our car go fast, and we're on the brink of getting there. So hopefully it happens soon, but if not, I'll take it in the first round of the playoffs too.
Questions from the press box?
Lee Spencer, I wanted to ask you what happened on that last restart, by the way, Aric.
I laid back off of Harvick's bumper a little bit and was trying to time the restart to roll up to him and Kyle went right at the beginning, maybe even slightly before, but he went right at the beginning, if nothing else, of the restart zone, and it caught me off guard. Earlier in the race, they had been dragging the restart out further in the restart zone, so I was kind of anticipating that, and when Kyle fired, I was caught off guard, and when I fired, I just spun the tires because I wasn't prepared. So that was totally my bad, and instead of giving myself a fighting chance to go up there and win and race those guys for the win, I fell back to 6th and had to battle back to 3rd.
And one last question. Are you surprised it took you this long to get your first podium finish with Stewart-Haas Racing?
Yes, I am actually. You know, we've had really good cars in Richmond. You know, we drove from 27th all the way to 2nd, almost won the first stage. I think we ran 2nd in the 2nd stage, and then again didn't execute, kind of fell apart, and finished poorly at the end of the race. So you know, I look at so many different races where we've had cars capable of running in the top 5. And we haven't finished in the top 5 yet, and I feel like that's almost made us more under the radar. You know, people are talking about this 10-team less, which has been fine by me because I've been confident in you know, I know what we're capable of, and I know the speed that we've had in our cars. So I feel like, you know, being on the radar has been kind of a good thing for us. It's put less pressure on us, and we've kind of gone out and performed at a high level, and sometimes it's been unnoticed. So today, here we are. We led a bunch of laps, and we finished 3rd.